What's going on, guys? It's Red Bull Tanker, and welcome back to Historical Board Gaming's The Korean War, Turn 9. Alright, so over to the calendar. Turn 9 is actually going to be a 3-month window, and it will encompass October, November, and December of 1951. So we are closing out the year with quite the devastating, I don't know if I'd say devastating, but definitely quite the turn for the Allies. North Korea. Alright, North Korea had 42 to spend. They bought 5 infantry, 5 artillery, a tank, and 1 supply. Combat. They took their 2 fighters and 4 jets. They came down to Sea Zone 3 and attacked the Allied Navy. And in a furious 2-round battle, the North Koreans managed to damage the 2 Allied battleships. Well, they had damaged the 2 Allied battleships, the 2 carriers, and damaged the 2 carriers, for a loss of their 2 fighters and all 4 jets. So the naval battle was pretty crippling right there. Well, not quite crippling, but it hurt. Hold on. No, I actually can't remember when those. Oh, no. And then in the set, and then I forgot to write. So the 2 battleships and the 2 carriers were damaged, and the 2 destroyers were destroyed in the North Korean attack. Following that up, then the North Koreans took 2 infantry, supported by artillery fire from Seoul. They attacked into Osan. They killed the U.S. mech in Osan, but the mech also got a hit and killed a North Korean infantry. Non-combats, the North, seeing that the North, with what they had planned, seeing no threat to Pyongyang, moved their Pyongyang forces out and are starting to push them south. And then after deploying, they collected 41 IPC. And by deploying, as always, they deployed out of Seoul. China with 35 bought 3 fighters. Surprise, surprise. And then for Chinese attacks, they took their 6 fighters based in Seoul to attack the remaining U.S. fleet. They killed the 2 battleships and 2 carriers, along with 8 transports, at a loss of 2 fighters. So the Allied Navy is out. So another devastating setback for the a devastating setback for the Allies. Now in combat, the Chinese continue to move their forces south to the parallel to meet up with the North Koreans to push, either at least to push and maybe try and get further south, or just get a line going and daring the Allies to try and attack. Alright, so then after placing their 3 fighters, China collected 35 IPC. They saved 5, so they will have 40 for next turn. South Korea had 16 IPC. They bought 5 infantry and the supplies. They did no combat. They just kept moving forces here to Sangju. They've recovered their strength from what they lost in that devastating attack on Chonan on turn 8. So the South Korean infantry forces are back to their original numbers. And then after deploying, the South Koreans collected 17 IPC. The United States. All right, the U.S. had 50 IPC to spend. They bought 6 mechs. They are flagged as the 76th Infantry Division and the 80th Infantry Division. They also bought a tank and 2 fighters. The only combat that the U.S. did this turn was they did another bombing raid on Seoul. Airsoft Commando did not scramble. The 2 bombers survived the flak and bombed for a max 10 hit. And then on the non-combat, let's see here. The armor. Oops. What was that? I think it was the 5th. Well, the 5th armor in Chowan and the 10th armor from Busan moved up to Sangju to reinforce the 8th Army. The 47th Infantry Division moved up into Wigwang. And then the U.S. Brought their fighters back to Sangju. And then brought the bombers back to Wigwang. And then deployed the Americol Division. And what's that armor division again? The 6th. Alright, so then the Americol Division, the 6th Armored Division, and 2 fighters landed in Busan. And then at the end of the turn, the U.S. collected 50 IPC. The UN had 22 to spend. They bought 5 mechs and saved 2. They did not conduct any combat. They, too, just consolidated. They sent 4 mech to Sangju with some supplies. They left 1 mech behind in Chonan. They took the 2 mechs from Gwangju, came up here and grabbed... Oh, wait. Whoops, I made a move error, so I have to... 1 second. So 2 mechs from Gwangju came up to Daejeon, grabbed the supply, and they should only be in Cheonju. So 1 second here. Let me fix that. And then they had... What was it? Oh, crap. Might have to go back and check my photo records of what they had in there. I think they only had... Yeah. I think they only had 6 supplies. But I will have to double check that. I'll have to double check the video records to double check. But for now, I will. My light went out. But I will. There we go. But I will, like I said, I'll double check that. And then they brought their 2 mech and fighter from the build queue into Gwangju and moved their tactical from Gwangju here to the 8th Army as well. Let's see here. Then at the end of the turn, the UN collected 20 IPC plus the 2 they saved for 22. All right, coming over to the board over here. The Allies have 14 territories to North Korea's 23. Wait, hold on. 1 second. 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Yep, 23 to 14. And then not much has really changed on the IPC chart. Just South Korea is now at 17. North Korea is at 41. And yeah, that's it. So that'll be it for turn 9. We'll have to see how this goes. I mean, it's kind of looking bleak for the Allies, but we will press on and we'll keep right on going. So that's it for it. So that's it for turn 9, and we'll see you guys next time for turn 10. So until then, guys, as always, take care.